Hello and welcome to Bergen Stages Television, our entertainment magazine here at Bergen Community College. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host, and today we have a very special program for you because our guests are not only alumni of Bergen Community College, but they're also the stars in our upcoming production of South Pacific. So Philip Hackett, Sarah Strickland, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. What have you been doing? No. You guys, it's so wonderful that you're in South Pacific, and we'll talk about the details about South Pacific, but you're both at Willie P. now.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little refresh our memory what you did at Bergen. Sarah, what was your major in?
Yes, I was a theater major when I was here and did a handful of musicals.
Which ones did you do?
Well, I was in
Spelling Bee?
Spelling Bee.
Yep.
1940s Radio Hour, Three Penny Opera while I was here.
Great. Did you do a Young Playwrights or any of those festivals or one?
I did do it once.
I thought you did.
I did it 1 year.
Yeah.
And then we had like directors' labs, things like that.
And you were a theater major, an acting major, or a general theater major?
It was general theater when I was here. Yeah.
Great. And Phil,
I just did liberal arts
Yeah.
for my associates, just did liberal arts, and then took that, transferred it over to William Patterson to go into their education program. But for shows, I was in company last year. We did Three Penny together, and then 1940s together as well.
Great.
Pretty much
So
what I did.
musical, and you're both at Willie P. now, William Patterson, studying in education. You're music ed and.
I'm just music, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm like general music, so I'll have my degree in music. I'm graduating in December. Yay! So it's coming up.
And you're
I'm history education.
history ed. So you want to teach history
Yes.
is what you want to do, but you want to keep performing, right, Sarah? That's kind of what
Yeah,
your desire is to keep. Okay, great. So with this a transfer, were you seamlessly going in as a junior where you transferred to after finishing here at Bergen? Did you, once you left here, were you considered a junior once you arrived at the new
Yes.
school?
I don't know how your experience was, but mine was very seamless. I went in with an advisor. I had my associates. Having the associates was great because I said, "You're good. You're a junior. Here's what you have to do." And it's been pretty simple to kind of go from there and kind of have the track and see the light at the end of the tunnel.
So quickly,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's great. I mean, I think that gets you into the level of classes that you're hoping to be taking
Right.
with the other juniors and seniors. And then if you play with your major once you get there, which might have happened with a music major because you were taking theater courses, you probably had to go back and take some earlier courses that music majors were required, so it kind of puts you...
Yeah, I know some students here who are studying music, and when they transferred, it was pretty seamless because they were already caught up in all the classes. But because I was a theater major and then I changed to music when I got there, I ended up taking classes with like sophomores and
Right.
freshmen at some levels. But honestly,
But there were the
it was
courses you wanted to
fun.
take.
Yeah,
You were done with all those liberal arts, your sciences, your math, all those were finished.
Yeah.
Everything you needed to take was just music courses
Yes.
that you felt that you had to go pick up those from the freshman and sophomore
Yeah.
year. Well, that's great. That's kind of the dream is to get you through this as quickly and seamlessly as possible.
Get
Good.
that degree.
How's it going over there? And you're graduating in a year.
In a year.
And you're finished in December.
December.
Holy moly. And so you performed here at Bergen Community College. You took classes here. You didn't take any theater courses, or did you?
I took a handful. I did, acting with Mary. I took a handful. I did stagecraft and design, stuff like that. Yeah. So I took a few. Yeah.
Great. And Sarah, you took them all. You
I
took
basically took all the classes that I could, whatever
even
fell
stage
when I was
makeup
here.
and
Yeah.
stagecraft and lighting. So you
Directing.
don't only
Yeah, directing
learn
and
as an
things like
actor what
Oh,
you do
yeah.
on stage, but you learn all the stuff from backstage
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And that's a great point of view to have, especially if you want to get into teaching or you have an appreciation of everybody, I assume. I guess that's kind of a good thing to have going for you.
Yeah.
Good. And now, Sarah, you did something special this summer. Can you talk to us about your special thing that you did this summer?
I did a 6-week intensive at Cap 21 in New York City, and it was based in musical theater. So in the morning we would go in and dance for like 2 or 3 hours every morning, Monday through Friday, and then in the afternoon we would take things like scene study and audition technique and things that were based in musical theater, not just specifically the acting portion, but like around curriculum.
So
really,
they knew that
for
when
it.
you got out, you were a musical theater performer, and they just
Yeah.
wanted you to be ready to audition and all that.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah.
And were they gentle and nice souls to you, or or did you feel like they really,
There was a variety of instructors, but overall, everyone was very, very welcoming and kind, and there wasn't any of that connotation that like, oh, if you get emotional and you cry during my class, that's it. In the real world, you wouldn't cut it. They like appreciated that you would put that much of yourself into
so
your
attached
work.
to it. Yeah.
You know, and
good.
it was very
Good.
supportive.
And you said they also talked about what you wear to auditions. And,
Yes,
that kind
we
of
had a
thing.
whole class that was dedicated to like the business of theater. So like how to go about getting the auditions and how you should arrive at the auditions and what you should bring, blah, blah, you know, all these different things about casting agencies and
That's
all that
priceless.
sort of
And you
stuff.
hope that you can get that while you're still in college, but a lot of times you're so focused on the academic part of it and
Yeah.
the acting and things like that you kind of throw in a workshop or a seminar and hopefully give you enough, but to be able to have this intensive there
Yeah.
was good. So you would recommend this course?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anyone who, I mean, you don't even have to be the best in all three areas. There were students who said, I'm a singer and I want to improve my acting and my dancing, and some people were dancers. So it really wasn't even that you already had to come in being a triple threat,
Right.
just that you came in with the passion and the willingness to work towards it.
Right.
You know?
Oh, cool.
So-
And they only do musical theater, or do they also have a theater?
They do musical theater.
Just that's all they
pretty
focus
much.
on.
Yeah,
I
they
couldn't remember.
their
Yeah,
2-year program is also the same.
Right, they have a 2-year program, but you did the
all around.
intensive, and it was 6
Yeah,
weeks
the
right in the
summer.
middle of the summer, and you loved it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did.
good. Sorry, Philip, I just had to catch up on,
No, I mean,
Sarah's
it's a
summertime, because I think that's great. I think a lot of times we just forget that we need to continue once we get out of school, or even in those summer months. It's like, let's continue this training, and
Yeah.
Because you
okay,
never
I'm ready.
stop.
It
You know,
doesn't.
you never stop.
You
Yeah.
don't stop. You don't stop. And now you've also been involved in theater outside of here too. Philip, have you? I know your mom does some great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've done community theater. I did theater all through high school. I'd done a lot of community theater up by where I live, up in Ringwood. I've gone to St. Catherine's Performing Arts Guild. I've gone to Smiling Rhino Theater, which a lot of people go over to Rhino. West Milford Players. So
Right.
I've done a lot of stuff everywhere. It's been a while since I've just done a straight play, mostly musicals, but you know.
Yeah. And so you've done some outside of
Yes.
college things.
Yeah. The last production I did was I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change,
That's
which
right.
is really fun.
Yeah.
yeah.
What a great show. And also, I remember A Little Shop.
Yes,
Did
Little Shop of Ours,
Yeah,
which
which
is
is
always
great.
fun.
Yeah.
so.
And it's so fun to do these local groups because you can still be at school, but you can take your evenings and weekends and get another show up, which builds, of course, up your resume. Have you done plays? Philip was talking about doing a few plays and non-musicals. Have you done?
I haven't done a straight play since high school.
Wow.
Yeah. I always, whenever I see audition notices, I'm like, oh, I should audition.
Tempted.
But then if I see one for a musical, I'm like, ooh, no, I kind of want to sing, and I go to the musical.
What is that, Phil? What's that all about? Because I think as a musical theater person, I know exactly what you're going through. But how do you articulate that? Why do we?
I guess part of it's just, I mean, for you and I, we both love singing. So when you see a musical, they're just such big productions. You get up there, you get to sing. It's so much fun. Not to say that just a regular play isn't fun to do, but I think there's just something a little bit special about a musical, especially for people who do like to sing.
It's like if I'm losing them in the story, I'll get them back with the song.
Right, exactly.
Just hang in there, audience. I'll be there. I'll be singing something for you.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's just part of it is the fun nature of musicals. It's just something that we really enjoy doing. And
Yeah.
kind of makes regular plays kind of take a back seat almost in a way.
But would you think that you would do one if the right one came along? I guess you.
Oh, yeah,
watch it.
definitely.
Yeah. It just needs to be the one that speaks passionately to you.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you do a farce and some comedies, they have this musical theater quality as an actor. You feel like, oh, I can certainly do that because it's that same energy that musical theater takes. But there's this love for musical theater that we all have, which brings us kind of into where we're heading now, into South Pacific. South Pacific, of course, Philip, why don't you tell us a little bit about the story of South Pacific for those that don't know?
Well, it's set during World War II in the South Pacific Theater. We see all these Seabees, nurses, military officers on this island, and they're pretty much waiting for the war to come to them because in the South Pacific, the war took a little bit of time before it actually got to all those islands that were down there. So people are bored, they're sitting around, and it pretty much is a love story between a nurse and a planter, a Frenchman who has a plantation on this island, and they fall in love. And throughout the story, it begins as a wonderful love story, and then a couple wrenches get thrown into the works as we see some more intense themes throughout the play, and the love between the two kind of gets a little
A
difficult.
little difficult. And we'll get into the reasons for that. And then there's also kind of a subplot with another little love story. Sarah, what's the Liat Cable?
Yes, so then we also had Lieutenant Cable and Liat. Liat is a native of the island, as I understand, and Lieutenant Cable, actually in our version they don't really allude to it, but he has this girl back home, but he ends up falling in love with Liat, and that kind of brings up a major point of the show, is this issue of race and how he feels that he can't love someone just because of her race. Almost. So,
and how can he bring this person home when everybody at home knows that we've been fighting with people that look very much like this race, you know? And then we forget that, you know, we had the Japanese internment camps at that time. So, you know, there was such racism in this country and fear in this country, and I think that's kind of layered in this show too. That when you stop and think about it, you're going, I don't know whether, you know, we can go through with a marriage or a relationship, which is really incredible. What your characters do in this particular musical, and it's Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, so it's some beautiful songs that you get to sing. Yes, what did you get to sing? Some of the songs.
Definitely. I mean, Some Enchanted Evening, This Nearly Was Mine. Those are two classic songs that a lot of people really know.
And
you have some of the
I
really.
get some of the most fun songs in like the theater songbook. So Honey Bun, that's definitely like my favorite one right now. Wonderful Guy, and Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair.
Cockeyed Optimist.
Yes.
Yeah, great. And then of course we've got the characters of Bloody Mary and Billis. So we have all the sailors singing Bloody Mary. We have all the sailors singing Nothing Like a Dame. It's just a songbook, Rodgers and Hammerstein's songbook that we just kind of listen to happening on stage there. So in this particular story, we're going to kind of get into talking about the characters, because I think it's really interesting the way they've written the story, that you are already at the peak of love right when the play begins, which is so different than other musicals, because normally it builds to that story and you watch the arc happening, but you're coming in and the story really almost at the peak of the arc, yeah?
Yeah, definitely, and it's kind of crucial to the story that we're at that point at the beginning, so that when we get towards the end of the first act, when we see some of these problems, where some of this racism is starting to kind of, you know, this ugly kind of thing is starting to come up in the relationship, we kind of see a decline in that almost, where you wouldn't really get that if you were starting all the way from the beginning of this relationship and building.
And seeing it happen. Well, we're going to take a very quick break, guys. I'm so excited to get back to talking about the story and this wonderful relationship. So we're going to take a little break. I want to thank Phil and Sarah for being here, and we'll talk more about South Pacific as soon as we get back. So come right back.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
Hi, and welcome back to Bergen Stages Television. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host. We've been talking with Sarah Strickland and Philip Hackett, our two stars of South Pacific here at Bergen Community College, and also two wonderful alumni from the college. So we've been talking about the characters that you're playing, and that Rodgers and Hammerstein have written this musical that have you at the peak of your romance. Do you find that difficult to start a play at that level? And I don't know what to compare it to say from other stories that you might have done, but do you find it more challenging or you find it easier? Let's already be there.
It's different. It's definitely different from what you would expect it to be going into it. I think we kind of have a unique situation because we are dating in real life, which definitely does help a lot.
For a while now, if I remember right.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. Holy moly.
Yeah.
1940s radio hour.
This is where you met. Met here at Bergen Community
Right here
College.
at Bergen Community. But yeah, it does make a interesting dynamic to kind of play it on stage like that. But in some ways it is kind of difficult just because we are in a relationship outside of it to kind of come at in the show, we're at the beginning of this relationship and we are kind of peaking towards this love towards each other. I don't know if you kind of feel the same way.
No, I agree.
Yeah, do you, and then do you feel like the audience is getting it? It's like, okay guys, do you get that we're kind of in love and we're trying to find a way to tell each other with some enchanted evening? And, I think there's sexual tension there or love tension in this, moments there. And so you're building that so that the audience understands the backstory. Basically, in that first scene, you're giving all this backstory with just your energy and your nonverbal, I think, is happening with that backstory. Am I kind of guessing that kind of right?
No, that makes, that's exactly what it is. And that's what's fun as an actor, to try and get that across in your acting, to kind of show those butterflies without actually saying, I have butterflies, to show that tension. So that's what we're hoping to do.
So along the way, let's go on this story, because I know a lot of people know this story because it's been around since the 1946-47 season. So they do fall in love. They're very much in love. But then very early on, after this first encounter that we have with you, you're talking to your girls and say, I'm done with him. What happened?
Yeah, I think she just has some reservations about it.
And you want to wash that man right out of your head?
Yeah, and she's a little stubborn. So when things don't go exactly how she thought, or she kind of gets this idea planted in her head when she has the upper officers talk to her, and it kind of makes her question. And then she says, "Oh well, I'll just wash him out of my hair then. I better not start."
Kind of like you don't know much about him.
Yeah.
It's like, did I rush into this too soon? Where's that courtship? Because you'd only known each other a couple of weeks, according to the script, from the first time you met at a dinner across a crowded room. And then they kind of question your knowledge, and then you question yourself, going, well, maybe I don't, so maybe I just need to back off on this thing. And quickly he walks in and changes your mind again.
And Emile, I mean, he even says, when you have something in front of you that's so wonderful, so beautiful, so much love for this person, you have to act, even if it seems crazy. You have to do it now. You have to
Crazy and impulsive.
Right, you have to seize that moment. And Nellie gets swept up in that, I think, in the first couple scenes. But then when she kind of pulls back, she's like, whoa, I really got caught up in all this. And that's when she kind of pulls back a little bit.
And there's an energy of the war, too, because we know back home people were rushing to get into marriage because, we don't know what's happening. Life is too short. Let's kind of, seize it right at the moment. And I think there's kind of that energy that's happening as well. And then you step back from it. And then you realize that he has 2 children from a former wife who's actually Polynesian. She's from the island, or a local islander. And that kind of sets you back.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is kind of skipping ahead, but the song "You've Got to Be Carefully Taught" is that exact concept. That she's been sort of groomed back home to think of other races in a certain way, and it's incredibly difficult for her to accept that.
And what was interesting, because last night we just rehearsed this scene where you said, it's born with you, and he says,
it's not.
It's not born with you. I can't believe this. I can't take that for an answer. And then Cable, who's discovering his own racism in all of this, comes up with this. And I think it's great that he says, you've got to be taught before it's too late, before you're 6 or 7 or 8, to hate all the people your relatives hate. You have to be carefully taught. What a lesson that a musical can teach us. And I know that when this musical came out, they were up in arms saying, you cannot keep that. And it's such a short song. It might be.
It's like less than a minute.
Yeah, 45-second song. And here it is telling us this huge lesson about us. And a lot of people are saying, cut that song out of there. You can't preach to the audience. It's like, yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah, because that's like the crucial moment of the show.
Yeah.
That is
that
the
discovery,
show right there.
That
that
discovery
moment.
to realize it. And then you, I think at that point, or Emile realizes that he can't fight that then. It's like, and then that's when he makes the choice to go off with Cable on a
Suicide mission.
suicidal mission almost. So we won't tell the end of the play, but the fact is that it's just got some rich moments at that time. Yeah. How's rehearsing? How's that going? How are you feeling? How you
Good.
feeling? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're in a great play. All right, okay. I'm directing the play, so I'm a little biased here. But
Under the excellent direction.
oh, no,
Yeah.
but the fact is that I think we're having fun, and I think we're learning as we go along the way about these people and about that time period, learning about the writers and yeah, so many things. So it's just great to work with you guys with such skill that you have and come in at the level that you have and the dedication to these characters because they're difficult characters. And then you don't get to party too much with the whole cast. I mean, you don't have very many scenes with them. You have it with the girls. You don't have it with anyone.
Not really. My connections with Nellie, it's not really
Yes,
too much
so
else.
there's the nurses and Nellie, and then the guys in Cable. But yeah, Emile just kind of pops in and says a few things, but most of the scenes are with the two of you. So it's been like a puzzle that we've been putting together, rehearsing in all separate different directions, and then coming together and bringing everybody together. But it's an excellent cast, I think,
Definitely.
And I'm excited about the set. John Ehrenberg's done some great stuff with the scenery there, with creating this world of the American troops coming in and just building on top of this gorgeous island because they just needed a base there. And so this superimposing over this beautiful landscape, this structure, which is what they needed to get set for the war. Jared Saltzman's going to do some exciting stuff with lights in this production. Tom O'Neill is doing our sound design. Aaron Ingersoll's doing our props, and then we have Marie Natali working on our costumes, which are a lot of fun. Some of the costumes you get to wear are silly, and some are just beautiful. But a lot of period stuff. It's all 1940s, so you've got the nurse's outfit. So there's a lot of research that Marie and her team has had to do to kind of put this thing together. So now we're in this rehearsal part where we're singing and we're dancing. What's going to happen now? Where are you? What happens in the next few weeks up to opening night? Tell our audience what an actor does to get ready.
Well, obviously we need to memorize all those lines. But
you guys are pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done great right off the bat.
Yeah, I think kind of what you said, how there's sort of a division in the writing between, like, Emile doesn't have scenes with the entire cast, which I think has been kind of fun, and I'm looking forward to keep exploring, because we really get to work one-on-one and do a lot of, like, scene partner work, which is really fun, even with a show with such a big cast, that we still have those small scenes that we can really dissect.
And think about character work,
Yeah.
which you hear people in theater, non-musical theater, do all the time. They really get to dissect the characters. And I think this play allows us to have those opportunities to look at the nuances in lines. I think yesterday I was obsessing over punctuation. There's a period there. Use that period. And where in musical theater do we get such an opportunity to sometimes play with that? Is this so? And so just for our audience, then what happens? We get into costume rehearsals, tech rehearsals. What is a tech rehearsal? Just kind of refresh them. What do you do in a tech rehearsal?
Well, in a tech rehearsal, you're not so much focusing on the actors and what they're saying and how they're singing and does the song sound good or whatever. You're looking at the set changes, you're looking at the speed, you're looking at the lighting, you're making sure that everything is coming in at the right time, that the show is paced well with all the technical things that are going on behind it. So it's kind of the actors have to kind of take a back seat and let all the crew, all the technical directors work their magic, so to speak. It's tough sometimes as an actor to kind of, all of a sudden, you're not the focus of the show, which is so odd because
it's been that way for 6
been
weeks.
Exactly. And you have costume parades where you finally come out. And a big thing that we learned in some of your classes is that costumes may look great backstage, but all of a sudden you get out and you have a blue light or you have a yellow light, and all of a sudden something may look completely wrong and we need to redo something. So all that kind of stuff goes into play when we do that.
And so the discussion with producer and the team is like, do we change the light or do we change the costume?
Right.
And what's the easier thing to do, kind of thing like that. But it is a great learning thing, and that's the total collaboration with everybody coming together. And like the cast, like you said, the cast has all weeks and weeks and weeks to work on this, and normally the tech team only really has a week or two to really kind of show their wares and be ready. And then we add the pit. We have our orchestra. And I think that's exciting. We have something called a Sitzprobe. What's a Sitzprobe?
Yes, Sitzprobe is great because we don't have to worry about the transitions and all the different in-between parts in between the songs, we're just singing with the band.
For the first time?
For the first time, yeah. So it's a great day to just focus on the musicality more and get everything settled with that.
It's one of my favorite rehearsals that we have, just because you rehearse with a piano for a month and a half, and then finally you get the rest of the pit, and you have drums, you have a saxophone, you get all these other instruments, and all of a sudden you may have been struggling to find a certain note or find a certain melody, and all of a sudden the saxophone's playing it for you, or you hear a little drum bring you in, and it's like, oh, I found it.
That tempo that you're going, I don't want to drag this tempo, and they're there to help you set that.
It helps so much.
Yeah,
it's like it finally all kind of comes together at that moment.
And it really means just sit and sing. To sit and sing. And that's what you're going to do, is you're going to sit with that pit. And I do too. I love them too, because I think there's so much discovery that you find in those particular musical moments of our final technique. And then we get into opening night. And so that's so exciting. So now we've got a great opportunity with you two. We have a song that you're going to sing for us. Can you give us a little build up to the song? This is the duet of Some Enchanted Evening. Yeah?
This is the reprise of it. So the first time I'm singing it, I'm kind of confessing my love to her, kind of making an effort to say, do you love me? And as we come into this song, we're kind of together now. We're saying, yes, we do love each other. And I don't know if you want to say anything else about it.
Well, that's right after Wash That Man Right Out of Your Hair. So you've been wooed back to him after you've said, right? This comes right after that moment. So he just kind of tells you everything. He's like, I'm an open book. What do you want to know? And he talks about his past and what brought him to the island. And so this gives you the opportunity to say, great, this isn't going to be so bad.
Yeah.
So we're going to have the two of them sing for us. So this is Sarah and Philip singing a selection. It's called the Some Enchanted Evening Reprise. So let's listen to them sing a bit.
Opposite sides of a sea, we are as different as people can be.
It's true.
And yet you want to marry me.
I do.
I've known you a few short weeks, and yet somehow you've made my heart forget all other men I have ever met but you.
Some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger, you may see a stranger across a crowded room, and that's when you know even then, that somewhere you'll see her again and again.
Who can explain it? Who can tell you why?
Fools give you reasons, wise men never try. Some enchanted evening, when you find your true love, when you hear her call you across a crowded room, and fly to her side and make her your own, or all through your life you may dream all alone.
Once you have found him, never let him go.
Once you have found her, never let her go.
Join us for South Pacific opening April 8th, 2016 in the Saccone Theater.